If you are listening to this while feeling tired or foggy or quietly overwhelmed, I want to start by saying that nothing is required of you right now. You do not need to pay close attention. You do not need to take anything in perfectly. You can just let this be background if that is all you have room for. Many people find their way here not because things are actively falling apart, but because something feels unfinished. The danger has passed. The crisis is over. And yet the body or the mind has not quite caught up. That space can feel confusing, sometimes even lonelier than the acute phase, because there is no obvious emergency anymore. If you are somewhere in that space, you are not late. You are not missing something, and you are not doing recovery wrong. Before I go further, I want to share something gently and clearly. What you are seeing is an AI-based version of me. That choice is intentional. Every word you hear is written by me, from my own lived experience. The perspective, the pacing, and the reflections are mine. The AI is simply the way this message is delivered, nothing more than a presentation layer. And then we continue. There was a day during my recovery that stands out, not because anything dramatic happened, but because nothing did. I remember sitting in the car after a short errand. The engine was off. The world was quiet. I should have felt relief. We were out of the mold environment. The hardest decisions had already been made. My daughters were stabilizing. One born in 2016, one born in 2021. On paper, things were moving forward, but in my body, there was a strange stillness. Not calm, not panic, just flat. I remember thinking, very quietly, I thought I would feel better by now. At the time, I believed recovery would look like progress, stacking neatly on top of progress. Less symptoms, more energy, clear milestones. I thought that once the threat was gone, the body would naturally return to baseline. What actually happened was much slower and much less obvious. What I misunderstood was the role of safety. I thought removal from exposure was the finish line. I did not yet understand that my nervous system had been living on high alert for so long that it did not know how to stand down. There was no switch to flip, no moment where everything clicked back into place. Over time, I began to notice patterns. When I pressured myself to feel better, my symptoms flared. When I compared my timeline to others, my body tightened. When I tried to push forward emotionally before I felt stable, I stalled physically. But when I allowed more space, more rest, more neutrality, things shifted, almost imperceptibly at first. Recovery did not move in a straight line. It circled, it paused, it doubled back. Sometimes it felt like nothing was happening at all, when in reality my system was learning that it was safe to exist without bracing. This is where many people get stuck, not because they are failing, but because this phase is rarely talked about. The quiet middle, after survival, before ease. It can feel like you are doing everything right and nothing is changing. Or like you are missing some final piece that everyone else seems to have found. I want to offer something here, without telling you what to do. There is nothing wrong with your pace. There is nothing broken in the way your body is responding. And if you are a parent carrying quiet guilt about what your children lived through, I want you to hear this clearly. The fact that you are here, listening, noticing, and reflecting already speaks volumes. Healing is not a performance. It does not require urgency. It does not reward self-pressure. Sometimes the most meaningful progress is invisible, happening beneath awareness, while you are simply living your life one ordinary day at a time. As we come to a close, I want to remind you that you are not behind. You are not late to your own recovery, and you are not defined by how long this has taken. Healing unfolds in layers, not checkpoints. If you want to read more reflections like this, written slowly and from lived experience, I share them at IndoorAirInsights.com. It is simply a place where I put words to things I once struggled to name. For now, you can let this land softly. There is nothing you need to fix tonight, nothing you need to figure out before resting. You are allowed to take up space exactly where you are. You're not alone in this, and you deserve answers you can trust.